Motherfucker.
Chicken butt!
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
God damn it, Adam!
What just happened?
I don't even know!
I had like this whole plan about something hilarious to say, and he ruined everything.
He's just going to edit you out. You know that, so it sounds like it was all this way at the beginning. That's what's going to happen in post.
This is me leaving.
It's what he does. No one will hear that.
Damn
He's
it.
going to do it in post. Yep. He can erase everything you do. You hear that flushing sound?
No.
Well, maybe you will in post. That is 1 hour of your time going down the toilet.
God damn it.
Instead of a useful, productive hour, it will be replaced by two ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. With that said, if for some god-awful reason you enjoy wasting more of the precious little time you have on this earth, like, I don't know, waiting for the Attorney General to recall if he spoke to a Russian or not. Search for Another Wasted Hour on all social media sites and share, follow, mention, like, and review us. Also, please subscribe to Another Wasted Hour on iTunes, Google Play Music, or Stitcher, and review us there too. Our goal is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., where the Senate committees are meeting, is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, as impossible as that might seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here, I'm Keith, and across from me is my co-host, Victor. Victor, why the hell are you here this week?
I don't know,
Answer
man.
the question!
Oh. I should have just stayed home, to be honest. I should have just stayed home. On the way out, I was accosted, finally, by none other than Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, really?
I could barely leave the house.
Did they ask you how you pray to your God?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, they did. And to top it all off, they were small Hispanic women with the tenacity that they, that culture comes with.
They knew what to send at you.
Oh my God, you have no idea. They're like, do you know anybody that speaks Spanish in this building? I was like, well, actually, we do.
Me?
Our neighbors and our downstairs neighbors do. And I didn't realize that I was actually throwing all of us into the fire.
You were just sicking them on you.
Yeah, I was like, I'm actually on my way out. They're like, in Spanish, they start talking like, okay, well, we're here, trying to sell you on this Bible, blah, blah, blah. I was like, we're Muslim. she was like, oh, but so you are religious. I was like, not really. We don't really, but we're Muslim. You're missing the point here.
You should have then hit them with a pillow and offered them ice cream. For those that don't know, That's a call to last week.
Yes.
Listen to that episode.
Oh, God. No, I would not waste ice cream on these people.
No?
But they were like, oh, so you're Islam. So you have your own Bible and you don't, I was like, no, we have a Quran.
Yeah.
They're like, so you worship Jesus in your own way, but do you need I'm like, no, I'm leaving.
How many wives do I get? That's not enough.
Right. They are tenacious, man.
Yeah.
Tenacious. And I felt bad. Like, I haven't met my neighbors yet.
Sure.
So I'm like, the first interaction I have with my neighbors is I have to apologize for these witnesses now that I sent to their homes.
Sorry about that, guys. By the way.
You're welcome for my presence.
Yes.
Why are you here?
That's an excellent question. Here's what I'd like to point out. I made some observations this last week. I've determined that listening to a Senate hearing is a lot like listening to like a dozen parents try to determine if a 4-year-old brushed their teeth. It's like, did you brush your teeth?
No.
Well, that depends on where teeth are. Like, what? Why would you say that?
Did you brush your teeth? Yes. Are you lying? Well, you didn't say it and I brushed them today.
That's true. I don't have a toothbrush. We bought you a toothbrush. It's next to the other toothbrush that you had yesterday that you said you didn't have. I don't know how to brush my teeth. No one taught me. I literally taught you how to do it. Did you brush your teeth or not? I would like a donut.
But he didn't brush his teeth. We're not asking him at the moment.
Let's have a quick poll. Who here has brushed their teeth? Okay, well, I'm abstaining. Yeah, it's all just, you just listen. You're like, why won't you just say a thing? It's a yes or no answer. Yes, I would answer that with a yes or a no, except I'm not going to.
I refuse.
Thank you for that. So speaking of people who refuse to answer a question with a yes or a no, in our studio this week, we are blessed with Ryland Wilkins and the Intrepid Travelers. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Did I get that right? Did I say it right?
You did.
Ah, yeah. So
It's a mouthful.
we have Ryland here. Say hello, Ryland.
Hello.
And we have Yashu here.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome, guys. So why are you guys here this week?
Because I'm an alcoholic. I had to say it. I couldn't help myself.
Different voice. That was somebody else's voice.
That was obviously Yashu.
That was Yashu's voice?
That was a pretty good Yashu.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell the difference between that and the Smurf voice you made.
All right.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh.
Well, so first of all, we're here because Yashu's an alcoholic, of course. But
As
aside
he said.
from that, we have a show on Tuesday, the 27th at the Velvet Lounge, which is a very nice venue in Washington, D.C. off of U Street at 8:30. Tickets are $8. We're playing with a band called The Shandies, a band called Don Frederick, and Menage a Garage.
Menage a Garage.
Indeed.
I'm going to focus on that band because that's a crazy name.
That's a hell of an innuendo right there.
I'm
It
not
really
even,
is a great name.
What does that mean? That would mean that you...
When's the last time you menaged the garage?
Are you banging two garages at the same time? Or is it that you park your car in multiple garages?
Do you know what I mean?
I'm not sure what that actually entails.
It's when you park multiple cars in one garage.
you just shove all the cars in there,
Yeah.
and then you back them out, you shove them back in.
Like 3-4.
Right.
Are we still talking about cars?
Right.
I don't understand.
I'm gonna give you an oil change.
That's literally the only thing I know about cars.
That's
It's just what a Menage a Garage is.
right.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like I have a 2-car garage. How many cars are in there? 18.
Sounds like a menage. I'm going to shut up now.
You know, have you played with any of these guys before?
No, we have not, but we met the Shandies through some friends of ours who actually live across the street.
Really?
Yeah, they throw shows over there sometimes as well. The Fernats.
Wait, across the street from our studios or across the street from your house?
from your studios.
What?
Their studios, yep.
There are
on-
shows happening across the street?
They're
Yes,
on
sir.
Coquina.
Every now and again.
shit.
Again.
Yeah, tell
maybe you
the
don't.
public where to find us.
So the address is.
yeah,
No.
good job.
Do you hear knocking on the door?
I know. We're now just going to be molested constantly.
I can't blame them. I really can't.
Right. What? Who knows? Those guys are so strong. I'm yet to check out these house shows. I didn't even know this was happening.
Absolutely. We'll let you know.
Yeah, please do. We'll have to go live over there with some microphones. Hi, we're doing a live remote of another
Oh,
wasted
yeah.
hour at your house.
Engineer Adam couldn't make it, so we brought this laptop. He can just yell at you from there.
So that's awesome. So you know them. Obviously, you know you guys. Have you played down in DC a lot? Where is this kind of a new venue for you, or?
Yeah, as a band, because we just started playing shows as a full band a few months ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I released my debut album in February as a solo artist.
Okay.
And then got together with Yashu here and his brother Tashu and our friend Jacob, all of who I've known for a while.
Hold on a
So-
second.
Yeah, hold on.
Wait.
Yeah.
What's Yashu? What's your brother's name?
My brother's name is. We call him Tad sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we call him Tissue.
Yeah.
Sometimes we call him Taju.
Yeah.
That's technically his real name. But he goes
Okay.
by Tad a lot just because that's the most white sounding of those.
So it's not Yashu and Tashu.
It actually is Yashu and Tashu.
It's Yashu and. Are you a children's show? That's
In
what
a
it
lot of-
sounds like.
Are you a video game?
You're like bananas in pajamas.
In a lot of ways, yes. I mean, depending on how you put it, where it's a Polish kind of thing. There's actually even a children's book called Bolik Ilolik that my dad was like, oh, this is just like you guys. So
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad. This is your fault.
yeah, exactly.
I hate you, Dad.
He chose our name, so yeah,
Are you
can blame him.
twins?
Yeah, we actually are twins.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense because sometimes
Exactly.
Tim's you'll have
Tune in
twins.
next week when the brothers Yashu and Tashu they meet with the legendary Ryland Wilkins and the Intrepid Travelers.
and fight to death. Sorry, kids. No, why?
Rating just went to
after
PG-13.
9 o'clock.
All right,
Y'all
so the
have to go to
twin,
bed.
It's a
the
wrestling
twin
show?
thing makes more sense. Now that I know that I thought it was they had one and they were like, would like another kid, and I'd really like it to rhyme with this kid. It seems strange. So that's very awesome. You also have a song that you guys are sharing with us this week. I believe that's Schadenfreude.
Yes, it is indeed Schadenfreude.
Yeah, which is always a fun word for those that don't know. That is German for Schadenfreude. I don't
Enjoying, finding pleasure in someone else's pain.
Yes,
Indeed.
So, yeah, I believe that is
Skahootenfruten, if you want to translate it in English.
Yeah, it's finding pleasure in other people's pain, or in English, garage menage. I believe is what that
menage
is.
garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the Germanic root Schittenfrogger.
So we're going to hear a little of that later on. If you are not patient and you want to hear the entire track right now, you can pause this podcast, go to the 1 hour mark, listen to their entire track, and come back and join us for what we like to call the weather report.
So Keith and I are going to... So we have a little friendly competition going. It's not friendly.
I win.
We came up with we found these news stories online, and we're gonna run them past you guys, and you decide whether or not it should actually have been news, and then we tally up the score and we fight to the death at the end.
This is great considering kind of a lot of stuff I've been seeing lately.
It's a little ridiculous, but yeah, use whatever criteria you deem necessary.
Yes, anything that you feel would make it news or not news. This one, I think, is squarely in the category of news, though. There's a Democratic lawmaker that introduced a COFEFE bill. It is an acronym for Communications Over Various Feeds Electronically for Engagement. The bill seeks to add the term social media to the Presidential Records Act, which governs the archival records of the presidency. So usually what they do is they'll record anything like emails or letters or any of these types of things. You have the presidential library where all of that stuff goes and you can research it. Well, they would like to add Twitter to that for our current president, since he seems to be so fond of it. I don't know if it has passed or not. I don't know if it's up for vote yet. But I'd like to share real quick just a few of the tweets that perhaps the Donald would not like to have kept for posterity. Perhaps I bet a good lawyer could make a great case out of the fact that President Obama was taping my phones in October just prior to the election. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. Peaceful protests are a hallmark of our democracy. Even if I don't always agree, I recognize the right of the people to express their views.
That's also not true.
Or how about this, all in caps? See you in court! The security of our nation is at stake!
Was that when Snoop Dogg was just like, you're an asshole?
Yeah, I think so. So, anyhow, that is actual news. A law that would be named after a tweet.
Communist on fire. No, communist on fire elephants fucking everything. That's what it stands for.
That's what you would make it?
Yeah.
Oh,
we established
okay.
this last week. Would call him? Shit, I said the word.
You jerk.
My bad.
It's not your word. For the record, that's from several weeks ago. Go listen to that episode too. So, gentlemen, we know that it is absolutely crazy and might end up changing the way we look at history, but is it news?
I would say, like, given our presidency right now, like, yes. And like, yes to that bill.
Yeah.
But I feel like for someone to just be like, hey, Trump said that thing on Twitter, we should make it a bill, is like stupid and amazing at the same time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the fact that we have legitimately made a meme into a bill now is just, well, isn't that a sign of the times, first of all? But like, is also just kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, like, it, having those kind of things recorded, especially what he says, could be useful, but also potentially damning in the future. Like,
yeah, definitely. 100
years from now, what if people look back on this and like they're either going to be like, wow, the president actually said that, or they're going to be like, wow, 100 years ago things were messed up. The last president was recording his phone in October. Like, that's not cool.
They'll be like, right, he was totally right.
Yeah, they're going to be like, wow, Obama was a monster. Like,
yeah. Thank God for Mother Russia. And so is it news? You didn't tell me.
Wilkins.
It is news.
It is.
Nice.
All right. Two
Ding,
news.
ding, 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 ding.
Whatever.
All right.
So, this next one, I titled it "Snakes on a Mail Route" because these people noticed that they weren't receiving their mail for, they didn't get the mail today.
Yeah.
The next day, they didn't get the mail. They didn't get the mail for 4 days. Finally, they called. They're like, what's going on? Apparently, the mailman he said dozens of snakes in this neighborhood and was like, I'm not going.
He
Not doing it.
unilaterally was like, nope.
Nope.
You can come to my house and pick up your mail.
Right. So, and these people walk their dogs every day. They hadn't seen a single snake. So I'm thinking, put some like fake snakes in the grass, and you will never again have to pay bills.
Right.
Point.
I feel bad if that if we find out that postman just has psychosis. And you just see snakes everywhere.
Some sort of
He's like,
breaks with reality.
I can't even leave my house. There's snakes. There's snakes on my leg. I can't do it.
So where was this?
This was, of course, it was in Kentucky.
Good old Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy took his toothbrush because he doesn't have more than one tooth, and probably fought off some snakes and trash pandas. And
so we know that it's an animal control issue, but is it news?
I mean, I fucking hate snakes. So
all right,
like
Indiana.
I identify with this guy.
Yeah.
We lived at this like the house that we used to live in the backyard is like a townhouse. So it was like 5 square feet, but a backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But like chilling in like kind of like the window area, there would just always be these like big ass like black snakes. And so like we eventually actually bought like a family machete to like cut these dudes up. I never got to. My dad was like, "No, you're gonna fuck it up. You're gonna get bit."
Yeah.
But so like if not for that, like, I mean, yeah, like I feel for the guy. It's kind of scary. And when you like kill them, they like still kind of like wriggle around.
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Is
so,
it
like,
news?
Is it news? I'm gonna say no.
No!
Damn it.
Just because like I don't know. That just
Wait.
feels like an excuse to be
Like,
lazy.
but
is
it's
it-
a way to actually not pay your taxes.
That part is like that's like a life hacks, like as dated as that term is.
Right.
Scare the
Ryland-
shit out of the
Rylan, what do
mailman.
you think?
Yeah, wait, I forget. Is it like, are we saying whether it's news in real life or whether it should be news?
Where there should
Do
be
you
news.
believe
No.
it is newsworthy?
It is not newsworthy,
Okay.
but
Damn it.
I pose the question.
Yeah.
It's definitely newsworthy in whatever town in Kentucky that he lives in. So, is he quoted
my
in the
God.
press saying, "I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking mail"?
That would be
Because
news.
if he is, that is news.
I
Well,
would
Victor?
rescind my statement if that was
Was there a quote? Did you brush your teeth?
Good.
No, I'm guessing no
Damn it.
news on that one. All right.
I can't. No.
So moving on. Madrid. You guys know Madrid in Spain, right?
yeah.
They have banned man-spreading on buses. Do you know what man-spreading is?
Bam.
Very nicely done,
You
right?
can't see, but he's doing it perfectly.
I really wish this
Textbook
was a TV
manspreading.
show because that was amazing. That was very well done. Yeah, so it's essentially men have a tendency to take up a little bit more space. I think just because we need to like air the buddies out. And so,
I got a nice gentleman sitting on 2 duffel bags. He needs a seat.
right, I'm just saying. And so they're saying that it doesn't respect other people's space. So they've banned it. It is now essentially illegal. But some men took to social network to denounce what they feel is sexist persecution of the male gender. The man part of the word is out of the order, the quote says, is out of order. I have seen women with handbags on other seats, laying back and spreading their legs like men, says Jesus Jerez from Madrid on Twitter.
So he says it doesn't, like, you're accusing men of only doing this, but women do it just like men.
Yes. You just said that.
You just killed your point, man.
Yeah, just like men.
Just killed your point.
You used men as the, that's, you don't say, he did it just like an octopus. They're like, oh, well, fuck octopus. So we know that it is now illegal and it is disrespectful, but is it news?
Wait, which state was this for?
This is from Madrid.
Oh, for Madrid.
Yeah, the city of Madrid.
I don't know many people from Madrid. I guess they manspread like a lot because like fucking like in DC, like people people are kind of polite depending on the day, but like
These
there's
guys are
some fucked up shit.
These guys are European. They might be going commando. You know,
Yeah. You never
people
know.
don't want to see all that.
Probably didn't shave.
That's disturbing the peace.
Yeah. So is
Well,
it
the shaving is okay.
news?
I say it's not news because
Not news.
I heard about this already on BuzzFeed, and they did this whole thing. They like went out and they're like, we're going to try man spreading. And like, they were like, what if a girl were to man spread? Would somebody complain?
Yeah.
And it was like it. So that was
did they complain?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just like, I don't know. It was BuzzFeed in general is very hit or miss with these. So I'm going to say not news.
Ryland, what do you say?
It's not news.
Oh, two not news.
I would say it depends on the consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point.
So this next story, titled "Jeep Slams into Home After Going Airborne."
Whoa.
The picture it's impressive. It's just the back of this Cherokee. Its
great.
ass just hanging out of. It's one of those. When you enter a house and it's like you're in the middle floor, in the like a little platform, and you go up 6 steps, you're on the first floor. You go down 6 steps, you're in the basement. It slammed into the living room on the upstairs floor.
What?
It just somebody flew up a hill,
That's a daredevil
got
act.
airborne, went through this brick wall and destroyed this living room. Person watching TV in it is completely unharmed.
Really?
No, there was nobody inside.
Wow. I was going to say,
Damn.
because that's the last thing they were expecting on like the second floor was a Jeep in their living room.
But yeah, that's different from Menage a Garage.
Yeah.
Menage a garage.
Slightly different.
What
from
if they
Alley
were
Crouch.
watching the Dukes of Hazzard as it happened, and it was just like, oh my god, this
Right,
is meta
seriously.
as fuck.
But
Yeah.
the driver was charged with inattentive driving.
Well, that seems
Surprise.
I would think they would have to have paid attention to make that happen.
Surprise, it was a white guy. So what do you guys think? News, not news?
So I relate to this a lot because my brother actually is the proud owner of a 1998 Grand Cherokee. And so in driving with him, I mean, that shit can jerk around and stuff, but I don't know if like you can accidentally like go airborne. No, that's fucking news to me though, because now I'm gonna like sit in his car and be like, oh shit.
What if we go airborne?
What is next? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. How about you, Ryland? What do you say? Is it news or not news?
I think it is because I kind of want to know how it got up there. Like how to get that. That's a Jeep. Like
quite
you
a
got to
Jeep.
propel that. You got to make a ramp or something.
The hill was the ramp. I
The
think.
hill right into the. But it's like
You had to go.
6 feet up.
You had to
Yeah.
go really
It's
fast.
impressive, and it's at a down angle. Like I
Well-
guess the thing it's gonna crash to the floor anyway. But damn.
I think you'd be surprised. So I was driving back from Manassas at one point, and there was like a little
Manassas?
ditch, right? And somebody had gotten going really fast. They hit that ditch, and their car was in the power lines.
Oh,
And I was like,
shit.
well, that's not going to turn out well for anyone. I don't know how it got up there, but I was just looking at it like, that looks like a Christmas decoration. so it's possible. So we have one news and one not news. Did you say it was news, Ryland?
I think it's news.
All right, two newses. Oh, we're all tied up now.
Take that.
All right, so I'm going to move on to what I think should absolutely be news. I'm just going to let you guys now
Here we
know
go.
so that you don't embarrass yourselves. It is now legal to challenge someone to a duel in Canada.
What?
Yes, you heard me correctly. You can now legally, you can threaten someone with a duel now in Canada. Now,
Like to the death?
yeah, essentially that's there's no rule now, so you can do whatever. Yeah. Essentially what happened was they were repealing a bunch of like old criminal codes, and since there had only been like 300 duels between like the 1600s and 1950, they figured that wasn't really a thing they needed a law for anymore. Plus, I'm guessing it would just be hilarious to watch two Canadians duel. It'd be like, oh, pardon me, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna.
Are we gonna go on 3? Do we?
I'm gonna get my gun. Is it you? Oh, you
wanna
go
duel there?
first. You go first. I'll wait, and then you go. Okay.
Bang! Oh no! And then you get the polite scorn of a Canadian. And it's like that's like the worst thing ever.
You really should have thought that through. So,
So it's not necessarily that they legalized it, but they
decriminalized it.
Decriminalized it.
Yeah. So the
Criminalized
question is it may be hilarious to watch and maybe not as dangerous as it sounds, but is it news?
I think so. I actually saw this on Facebook the other day.
Yeah?
That they had legalized dueling in Canada. And I was like, I have to pose this question, like, is there regulations? Do you need a sword or a pistol? Like,
Right.
Or can you like want to fight somebody and be like, hey man, let's duel, and just throw down right then and there and nobody gets in trouble?
I think, yeah. As long
I
as
think legally you have to have it at noon.
Right. I would think that there has to be like glove slapping first.
That's when I first saw it.
Via public forum, though, they've got to like be at the grocery store. Like it's got to be an embarrassing glove slap.
Yashu, what do you say?
Oh, I think, okay, so first of all, why isn't this a fucking like law here? Like you have, like, honestly, like, can we just duel like over shit? Like,
All the
I got
time?
a parking ticket the other day. I will duel for that shit.
I will fight someone.
I will
No,
fucking
don't
fight
do
for
it.
that shit.
Don't do it. If duels are legal, no one would be more fucking vicious than a parking meter maid.
Yeah.
That's true, though. That's
you
true.
have
They
to
would
be.
get challenged every time.
Right. If they're around for any amount of time, if you see a 60-year-old meter maid, you'd be like, I'm just going to take that ticket because you have killed a lot of people.
Yeah, I've been fighting every day of my life.
I don't even have a heart anymore.
Look at you. You won't last a week.
All right. Is it news?
I say that is news because
All right.
that is very exciting for young childhood Yashu. Like, hell yeah, dueling.
Ryland, what do you say?
I definitely, I think that's news, especially because like
We're going to Canada.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, this duel has fallen on my favor. I am 4-2 over Victor this week. Yes, I know news when I see it.
Shut up.
So thank you guys for helping the good guys triumph.
We try.
And, what
I happily claim the mantle of villain.
villain?
Every
on this
villain ever has my name anyway.
So you brought us a track. We've talked a little bit about what it might mean in English. But Schadenfreude, obviously a fairly well-known term for people who are mean.
I don't think that's what it means, Keith.
What brought you to writing a song about finding the joy and the pain of others?
That's sort of how I like I think that
how you make
like
love?
American media reflects that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I just think I think that like society in general, at least like just the way the world is right now, that we find a lot of entertainment in the misfortune of other people.
Oh, I mean, like all of reality television is essentially like
exactly.
Yeah.
You don't watch that to see a functional family have fun and go on vacation and help each other do their homework. Like,
Well, and it's interesting because there's a change in society. Like I think it's around like the 50s or 60s or so, we started going from TV shows that showed idyllic kind of situations.
Mhm.
So you had, Leave It to Beaver and these things, and it was
Happy
like,
Days.
yeah, you had all these things where like people were like successful, or they were happy, or they were trying to like they were succeeding
Brady
over
Bunch.
adversity. Yeah, and they ran into troubles, but they always got through it. And then we slowly started to transition into wanting to see people fail and feel good about ourselves, because instead of trying to strive to be that ideal person or to succeed, we just didn't fail as bad as Jersey Shore. You know, right? Like,
Well, take a look at the superheroes from the era. You've got Superman, who's like pretty much all good and unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then you've got Batman, who is so fucked up.
Right.
And, he came around. I think Batman showed up around, got to really popular, at least in the 50s, because he was so fucked up. He was so dark, yet he was still a hero. So
those anti-heroes kind of really started to take off at that point.
Indeed, Wolverine and
yeah.
X-Men same time.
yeah, makes sense.
Right around there, man.
Yeah. So I think that's really valid. So is this song kind of just you stepping back and looking at the world and saying, this is kind of what I'm seeing? Or is it more of a personal introspection on something that you've gone through?
Yeah, just sort of the first one's like a general sort of reflection. Like the first two verses are like a parable. Like I just made up a story. People meet and then end up like falling in love or whatever, but it turns out the guy is married. His wife sees this, snaps, and shoots them both and herself. The neighbors, instead of being like, instead of being sad about it or just gossiping about it, like, oh wow, did you hear what happened over there? Did you hear what happened to the Joneses? Whatever. Because I thought that would be an example of like a brutal example of like Schadenfreude, like as a concept.
Yeah, no,
instead
I
of
think so.
instead of being like, why did this happen? It's it's keeping them entertained.
Right. No, I definitely see that. So the song's called Schadenfreude. I would say it wrong.
Someday Keith will learn to say it, but it is
Yeah.
not this day.
No, not today. That's fine. Just find joy in the pain of me trying to say that word.
Hey.
If you want to listen to the whole track, it is at the end of this podcast. Fast forward to the 1 hour mark, and you can have a listen to the whole thing. But let's just take a listen to a piece now.
Mrs. Mary was a widow when she stumbled into Winslow, walking to the market for some tea. Saw them kiss from out my window. What poor Mary still didn't know was that Mr. Winslow was married. But these are the things that make us complete, colors that bring us out of the doldrums, the misfortunes of...
You know what's interesting about this track? It is just such a juxtaposition about what's going on and the actual sounds that are coming out.
It's so delightful.
Right.
That's the idea.
It sounds like a Monkees song almost. You know, it's like it's so poppy and it has this feeling of like bounce and happiness.
We're drawing joy from this story's pain.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is great. And then you're like, oh, those words are horrible.
It's meta. It's meta as fuck.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. What do you each of you play in the band? Obviously, I believe you're the lead singer. Right,
I sing and play guitar, and then write the songs.
Okay.
I get to hit things with sticks.
My man.
I get to make noises.
So you are
I'm a drummer.
the sadist.
Or I mean, like, depending on the day. You know?
You bleed the most by far.
Yeah.
Pretty
absolutely.
much.
All right, very cool. Is this a song you're going to be playing on Tuesday, June 27th at the Velvet Lounge in DC?
I don't know. We never practiced it.
Oh, no.
Dun, 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 dun.
I was actually. I think I've mentioned like wanting to do it before, so we might. But we cover a song by a band called Neutral Milk Hotel called Holland 1945 to open our shows a lot.
Okay.
And they're in the same key and have some parts that have a sort of similar cadence, so we never play them both in the same set.
I can see a parallel there. There's a bit of that. I mean, he has a little bit more of a darker feel to it, but it still has that kind of folky pop feel with those darker lyrics as well. So I see that could be probably an influence that you've had.
For sure. Neutral Milk Hotel and Rubber Soul, just the Beatles album.
Very cool. So that was Schadenfreude. It is by Ryland Wilkins and the Intrepid Travelers. If you want to hear more music from these guys, check out wilkinsmusic.bandcamp.com. So moving on from that, we'll talk a little bit more about what it's like to be in that band. But before we hear stories about your past, we're going to go into This Week in History. So these are all stories that have happened throughout history, and we're going to ask you over this entire list to decide personally what is the most historically important. Doesn't have to be objective, doesn't have to affect the world, but for you, what is the most historically important thing that has happened this week in history?
We like to go in chronological order.
Yes.
So the first thing that I found interesting today on the interwebs, in the year 323.
That is old. My God.
Alexander the Great or Alexander the Terrible, depending on where you are, the young Macedonian military genius, died.
Oh.
After conquering more of the known world than anyone else ever.
Yeah.
And then that collapsed immediately after he died because everybody pretty much thought he was a god. He'll never die. He'll be fine. He got the flu. He died. Wait, what'd you say?
What? He died.
He died.
Yeah.
What do we do now?
What do we do?
We don't have an heir.
Right.
For 11 years, it was the biggest empire ever to be on this earth.
Yeah.
And then within like 1 year, all his generals and everything had warred over it, and it fell into chaos.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alexander the Great, for causing the biggest power vacuum ever.
I mean, that's like Zeppelin, you know, just you had that nice little block and then just, you know,
Boom.
Sorry, Bonzo.
Yeah.
Love you.
I've never heard anyone parallel the Alexander the Great versus Led Zeppelin comparison. That's good.
Solid.
That's really
Solid.
That's possible. How did you even find that? There was the internet around that old?
No, I had to go back in time.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
But I'm looking at the board, Keith. We actually got a nice spread this week. Usually, like I'll do 5 stories in a row, and then you do 5, and then there's like 1 straggler. But I think we got a pretty even keel here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have one from 1667, way forward from the 300s. The first blood transfusion on a human. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't realize it was that early.
Had they done it before on other creatures?
Yes, they had. It was the first time they'd ever done it on a human. However, not the first time that they had done it with human blood.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, they used lamb's blood.
What?
They injected 9 ounces of lamb's blood into a 15-year-old boy who made a full recovery, which begs the question, why aren't we injecting people with lamb's blood?
Yeah.
Whenever the Red Cross is like,
Solid question.
I need you to donate. And be like, I mean, there's just lambs everywhere. Just, I know I've eaten one. It's like there's blood everywhere.
Pretty much the same thing at that point. I mean,
Right.
But needles hurt. It feels bad.
Right. So who
That's
knew?
terrible.
You giggled. I'm off the hook.
Yeah, the donator of God. So, after that, what?
That's why it works. That's
Yeah,
why it works.
It's why it works.
I hate you so much. Even the engineer can't keep it together right now.
Yeah, well, they got to use a microphone. So we fast forward to 1752. The very well-known Benjamin Franklin does the thing that he's most well-known for. Anyone?
Getting syphilis.
That's it. No.
Womanizing.
That's what?
Wow.
No, that's not it.
He totally is famous for
That's not the
womanizing.
thing he's most famous for. Come on.
That's what he
okay.
says in Assassin's Creed.
Traveling to France and representing the United States.
Nobody even knows about that.
He's
that's
on the
pretty
$100 bill.
Yeah, that's true, but that didn't happen then.
Did he fly a kite in the rain?
There it is. That's the money shot right there.
Still gonna go with syphilis.
Yeah,
I'm still going with syphilis.
Yeah.
Well, he was able to fly his kite into some syphilis and,
See,
and identified lightning as electricity
That definitely happened in France.
on genitals. So that happened this week in history. That is the famous tale of learning about electricity and lightning. Super important. Just going to say that now. How about you, Victor? What do you have?
In 1777, a man with 86 first names with the last name of Lafayette.
Oh, that's not how I said it. Okay, good. The way I said it was a lot more offensive. So, yeah, let's go with Lafayette.
Lafayette
Yeah, that would be way better.
was a commander, a French commander
I'm
who came
French.
to the New World. Hold on, I'm gathering words here.
This is good.
Came to the New World
Yeah.
to be a trainer of troops, captain person
This is
for
good.
George Washington.
This is your best bit
I
ever.
literally just read the article again to make sure I got all the words right.
And you didn't.
And I'm just like, hold on, I'm holding both my arms out here.
Yeah.
I'm not having a stroke, am I?
No.
No,
Is
okay.
it? Can you smile? I can't see it. The microphone's in the way. You might be having a stroke.
Fuck. Anyway, he was a very important captain / general / lieutenant person for George Washington, which is why everything in the South is now named Lafayette.
Yes.
And
Everything.
he was pretty much dishonored later, but we'd already named things. So
For being a Fayette.
for being a Fayette. Yep.
Did he come out as a Fayette? All right.
I'm just going to look at you.
The Fayettes. 1805, everybody. Don't know if you know this, but Detroit burns down in a fire. All of Detroit.
Goodbye.
All
Why did we rebuild it?
just I don't think you can tell the difference.
You
Now.
really can't.
It hasn't gotten better. But here's the thing that blows my mind about this in a historical sense. Okay, so the fire started when a local baker failed to extinguish the ashes when he knocked tobacco out of his pipe. Let's let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen, for just a moment, okay? A man emptied his pipe and the entire city burned down. That was not a good infrastructure.
You just got to be asking for it at that point.
Why would you build Detroit out of tissue paper?
Right.
We're just gonna, well, we got this tissue paper. Let's soak it in gasoline to make it stronger. Like, I don't know what it was
Line the
made
walls
of.
with it. Line the walls with it. It'd be good. It's good insulation.
It was basically like oil paper mache or something that they were.
Right.
I have no idea. That's all it took was ashes from a pipe, and everything's gone.
Yup. LA had that one earthquake in the early 1900s that knocked thousands of buildings down.
Yeah.
And they still saved part of the city after most of it burned. Like, it took an earthquake.
Yeah.
Not an
Not
ashy
Detroit.
pipe.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It's a sad, sad story, but don't worry. If you fast forward to 1902, exactly, that's how it would sound. I have a bit of uplifting news, right? The first envelope with a window is patented. There you
Those
go.
are just annoying. Those are always bills. I put my snake out in the front yard for those.
Yeah, you always, right, so you don't have to pay them. If there was a snake in the window of the envelope, that would be impressive. So
Tired
yeah,
of these motherfucking snakes, these motherfucking envelopes.
patented by American inventor A.F. Callahan, who sounds like a guy who invents things and then corners the markets on them. Like, that's what he sounds like to me. He's like, let's get the Callahans together and just corner the market on these window elevators. I was going to say elevators. Envelopes.
Are you having a stroke?
Yes!
Hold both your hands out for me.
I'm having a stroke! I brushed my teeth.
In 1914, Kaiser Wilhelm concludes meeting with Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary.
Who's a band? I
On
believe.
this date. Well, there's a reason they're a band.
Mhm.
Because of this chud. And apparently the meeting didn't go so well. They couldn't agree on a whole bunch of stuff, so they left. And 2 weeks later, Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated.
Yeah.
And all the secret treaties that Europe had been falling into over the previous couple decades suddenly came to light. Like, wait, we're going to war with you. Like,
Yeah.
well, that's my friend right there. He's going to war with you too. And then suddenly, a month later, all of Europe went to war, and that was World War I.
I think the best story coming out of that is the way that Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated. If you ever look it up, it's fantastic. Essentially, like, everything went wrong, and like the guy's car wouldn't start and something else happened. And he actually went to a cafe depressed because he wasn't going to be able to fulfill his mission. And then for some reason, Ferdinand just stopped at that cafe to get like a sandwich. And the guy was like, oh, bang. And World War I. Which is...
Sounds like Detroit burning down.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
wanted it at that point.
And the favorite part about World War I is that they called it the war to end all wars, and then we're like, fuck, when World War II started.
The war to end all wars. Quick, let's set up everything in this perfect way that will start everything over again.
Yes. Okay. All right. Got this. Dominoes.
That was one hell of a war. It was the war to end all wars.
Right.
Let's do it again.
And it's still going. One more. Second verse. Same as the first.
One more time. In 1966, the Miranda rights are established when, in a court case, Miranda versus Arizona,
That's from Sex and the City, right?
never speak again.
Answer is yes.
In 1963,
Yeah.
an 18-year-old Phoenix woman told police that she had been abducted, driven to the desert, and raped. And Ernesto Miranda was blamed for it. They arrested him, forced a confession out of him, and convicted him. Now, he came out later, was like, listen, I didn't know I had the right to remain silent. No, I didn't have to talk to anybody. So they had to repeal that or appeal that decision. He was set free and then murdered in a bar. But now that's why they have the comically cliche, you have the right to remain silent, anything you can. And so, those are
little do
your
you know,
Miranda rights.
One of the Miranda rights is to get murdered in a bar.
Right.
That's
right.
apparently
you
one of
have the
those.
right to be stabbed over a pool game
Well, it was probably in Canada.
And some peanuts.
and some peanuts.
It's legal up there.
Pool game, ludicrous, but peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Pool, yeah.
That's where you draw the line.
So on the topic of fires,
Fire.
in 1980, Richard Pryor catches fire.
Hey, Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor, with a mixture of cocaine and ether, it exploded in the comedian's face, causing him to run screaming for nearly a mile with his clothes on fire. Apparently, he mistook stop, drop, and roll for scream, run for a mile, and keep screaming.
And die.
You
But
know,
see, he probably had a mirror nearby. Sorry. If you look in the mirror when you're on fire, you panic. It's just a thing.
Right. Yeah, that's probably the thing. This also probably fueled his heroin habit, because he was like, you got anything that's not flammable? I will take some of that shit.
Sorry, Wilkins, you were going to say.
oh, I'm just like, he had to be coked out when it happened, or else he wouldn't have been able to run a mile while on fire.
Right. Yeah.
very
Just
true.
like-
I can't run a mile at all.
Right. The only other person.
was he trying to invent crack? Like, mixing it with ether? He's
1981
like, guys,
crack.
he was like, motherfuckers, we gonna change the game.
The only other person in history who could run a mile one on fire would be Usain Bolt, and it would take 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
It would actually put the fire out.
Right. He runs that fast.
That's why he ran a mile.
Right. But yeah, so that actually happened. That That's not a thing.
On fire.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just running down the
Yeah.
street like, that guy's having a bad day.
That next week is really tough because part of you is like, I should put that in my resume. And the other part's like, no, you shouldn't put that in your resume.
It's Richard Pryor. It's definitely in his resume.
So like other interests, running 1 mile while on fire.
Coked out of my mind.
So that I think is all we have for this week in history. Gentlemen, take the time you need, but right now history falls into your laps and you have to decide what the most important historical moment was of this week.
Of this week?
Yeah. You have the list ahead of you. We have blood transfusions. We have Alexander the Great. We have Ben Franklin. We have Lafayette's.
Yeah, we're just going to edit out that whole thing in post. Sound good?
Detroit envelope windows, the Great War. Envelope windows, I think, is a really strong contender, just for the record. Miranda Rights and Richard Pryor on fire. What would you guys say? Each of you can have your own. It's a different, life experience that each of you had. So one of these might, resonate more with one than the other.
Well,
We can play some Enya in the background if that helps you decide, calms you.
it does help me think.
Sail away, sail away, sail away.
Incredible.
I'm definitely.
That's the only lines we know.
I mean, Richard Pryor tried to evict crack, and that's pretty historically monumental. But I think I'll let Yashi get this one.
I was almost gonna go with Richard Pryor. It was like a close. You can't see how close my fingers are, but
Yeah.
It was that and Ben Franklin. So I'm gonna go with Ben Franklin, like catching syphilis, because
In
like
a jar.
in the jar, exactly with the kite.
In the rain.
You know what? I'm gonna get meta with this because I am a history buff and I like history a lot. So I'm gonna go Alexander the Great dying because all of those nations separating at his death led to the birth of like several dozen respective different nations.
That's true.
And probably
got,
Ben
like-
Franklin.
Yeah, and maybe Ben Franklin.
However,
Ooh, full
most of those were
circle.
white nations and no one cares.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wrong. That was Persia.
But like, yeah, no, he
Those people
died in
tan,
India.
man.
He died in
Some of it
India.
was Persia, but a lot of it was like white people, and then they just got into all kinds of shit. Like, and then they just
That's true.
ruined things for like millennia.
As white people do.
Right. We're really good at that.
it's that card in Cards Against Humanity, the way white people use.
Right.
Yes.
It's just people are like, you go, oh, what's that? I'm like, oh, I made this thing. I decided to make a monument. I'm going to fuck it up.
Damn it.
God damn it. Why? I made a car. Well, I'm going to make 1,000 of them. They're going to be shitty. Thanks, white people.
Did you guys see that video today? Someone they were going to take down a statue in like Texas for like some state official who used to own slaves in like the 1800s or something like that. So, obviously like an anti-that group like started protesting and stuff.
Yeah.
But this dude shows up with a bunch of memes on posters that are like really racist and really offensive, but are very obviously like memes, like have like Kermit the Frog on them and like stuff like that.
It's okay. It's
And so
Kermit.
he thinks that he's gonna like fit in and have a good time, but they kicked him out. And he was like, "What? These are good memes." Like, he was like, "Look, man." They were like, "Look, man, this isn't Comic-Con." That's actually what they said. They were like,
my
"This isn't
God.
Comic-Con." He was like, "This is top-notch memes here right now, man. We're getting across a message."
These are dank memes. Come on. What's going on?
Dank?
Yeah.
They're dank memes?
There's some
Yeah.
dank
It is hot in
memes.
Texas.
Some dank
They were
memes.
probably pretty smelly.
Yeah. No, I do like that because it's a hard place to stand on. I have so much respect for the people who are protesting against the removal of like all of the Confederate stuff, because you just have to have huge balls to be like, well, I don't care what you think. I like the big statue of the guy who treated people like objects. Like, and I'm like, good for you. Look at you. Like, you're not lying.
Way
Like,
to stand up for what you believe in.
like that's not a bandwagon thing. Like it's like you're one of those guys that like was a fan of the Cubs like 10 years ago, like when they hadn't actually like won anything for 100 years, and they were like, I still love the Cubs. Like, you haven't won anything since people alive now been
We're coming
alive.
back. The
Then they're
South's
even
coming
more
back.
like the Cubs because the
gosh.
Cubbies just won the series and Trump just got elected. So
yeah,
that's their.
they are. They're the Confederates are basically like Cubs fans. They're like, we got one.
And there go, we're good for another 100 years.
Terrible
Oh
and
no, I
sad.
saw a guy at one of these protests and he had a shirt on that said, just see what happens when you try to take my flag away from me. And I want to be like, there was a whole war where we did that and it worked out great. Like,
Yeah.
Don't.
Like, do you want to see it again?
Yeah.
That didn't end well for you.
Did you want to see how that turned out? Because you guys do reenactments every year. It's not hard.
You lose every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes the South wins those reenactments, which is
Apparently.
why they keep doing it, I think.
I think they're like, we got it this time. Woo! Back to home where I'm sad.
Pets his little cannon on the way in.
Oh, God.
Stupid.
All right. So what we've determined is Richard Pryor, On Fire, and the death of Alexander the Great. Is that what we came up with as the top two?
I dig it.
Yeah.
He went with Ben Franklin.
Yeah,
I
I
was
went
with
with
Ben Franklin
Franklin.
before.
Okay.
I went with Alexander.
You
so-
switched on me. That's what threw me.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
said I
We'll-
wanted
we'll-
to do Richard Pryor.
We'll give
Right.
Richard like a consolation.
Honorable mention to Richard Pryor.
Yes.
May he rest in peace.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So that's
rest in
everybody
ashes.
knows.
Ah.
All right. So syphilis power vacuum is what got it this week.
Word.
On to the most important part of the show, talking to you guys, because we miss talking to you guys, as if we've been ignoring you this entire time. So we have
Who are you talking to, Keith? There's no one here.
it's just me making different voices. I'm an alcoholic.
This is where you edit in the cricket noises.
Yes. Oh, the whole show. The whole show's just me cricket
Perfect.
noises. That's all we've got. I do need that as just a button I can press like constantly on repeat. So we play a little game, as you may have heard from previous shows, called the Five Senses. Basically, science has proven that a lot of our most intense memories, the things that have stuck with us the longest, are attached to each of our senses, right? So what we want to do is, as musicians, you guys have seen a lot of shit go down. We want to find out what it's like being in your shoes as musicians. So we're going to go through each of the five senses and see what horrifying or wonderful thing that has happened that has been most memorable for you. So I'm going to start off a little different this week, and we're going to go to an unusual one. Let's go with, I want to spin a wheel, like taste. We will do the sense of taste. What have you
Gustatory.
Yeah, sure.
We like the sense of taste.
Let us tell them the legend of
So-
Tad
The
Too Tall
legend.
Boys.
This is great because it tells a story about someone who's not here, so we
Yeah.
can say whatever the fuck we want.
Bananas.
And
in
it's your brother,
pajamas.
so we can say whatever the fuck we want.
Exactly. So we had this house show. It featured Ryland Wilkins in the Intrepid Travelers, which we are in.
That's you guys.
That is
Do you
us. We are a
speak of
band.
yourself in third person a lot?
A lot of the time.
Yes.
People just approach us like, oh, dude, that band was so great. I was like, aren't they great? They're just the best.
Everyone except me. That's the demands to be in the band. You have to refer to us in third person.
Exactly.
That's one of the
exactly.
many demands. Right.
So, but this show though, so like they featured Ryland Wilkins and the Intrepid Travelers, but it also featured me and my twin brother's side project, which is a 2-piece band called Short Stories. You can check out our
okay.
very dated album on Bandcamp somewhere in the interwebs. But so we had a show and we were, I think,
I
opening.
like that he snuck that in. That was really good.
Yeah,
He took your show
quick plug.
and was like, just so you know, I'm also very talented.
I try. But so we had I forget who was first, but like Short Stories was like right before Ryland Wilkins, and you probably just love me saying your name like for the past like 5 times.
I'm
I think
right
I've just,
here.
What you
Yeah,
should do
exactly.
is you should start a side project just called Yashu and the Intrepid Travelers, and then go toe to toe with them.
Kick
Turf
me out.
War. I'm down.
Yeah.
Just you and Tashu.
So at this show, we I like got like straight from work. I went there to like load in stuff, but like people were chilling like a good couple hours before, and I show up and my twin brother is just like smacked out of his mind.
Okay.
So we
Like he just ran a mile while on fire.
like he just ran a mile while on fire on like newly invented crack rock cocaine. So like, and he like I didn't really notice at first. I was just like, oh yeah, no, take this amp. And he was like, yeah, I got you, man. And like, so because we're in a 2-piece band, you have to make up for like bass and stuff like that. So he has
Sure.
his guitar hooked into pedals that are like
There's
not
like
a whole
countable.
rack of pedals just
Just
to
like-
make noises, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To fill
So
sound.
Cables everywhere.
Yeah.
cables everywhere, and there's like something to put a bass amp through and the guitar amp, and he's like drunk as fuck, just trying to like, this goes into, oh nope, that doesn't work, and it's like a good like 20 minutes into
Set
our
up for
set.
2 people.
Just for two people, I was
one
good.
of them's on drums.
Yeah. Yeah, drums was like the quick one for once. It was
So
great.
he's basically like trying to set up a VCR while drunk. And
yeah, exactly.
Right. And so what happened? What was the taste?
The taste was like, well, I had some of his. He had, what was it, like Steel Reserve or something?
He just drank like 4 tall boys.
He had like 4
That's where the
tall like
taste
Steel
comes in.
Reserves, and like I like took the like last one from him and I like tasted it. So that's my taste, I guess.
Oh wow! So it was pretty strong.
It was pretty. It was pretty strong. There were a lot more after that, but yes.
All right, very cool. Do you want to take a spin at the wheel, Victor?
Tick 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 tick.
Don't catch your arm.
Tick 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 tick. Oh, roll again. Tick 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 tick
No,
tick tick tick
just
tick
pick
tick
one.
tick tick. Auditory.
All right.
Ooh.
Sense of hearing. This is easy for musicians, right? What do you guys have that's a memory of something you've heard that's fantastic or horrible in your travels, your rehearsals, your recordings, your live shows, anything like that?
Well, I can't hear anything right now. I've just been like reading you guys' lips, so I have no clue. I'm not sure what to go off of here.
That's going to make this show even better if it's like bad lip reading. Have you
I'm
ever seen
impressed
that?
if you can like read our lips through the microphones here.
That's true.
It's very difficult.
I've got one where I heard something horrible.
Oh, those are the best.
Because I went on tour with a band of our friends called Ruse de Guerre. Their drummer actually got attacked by a pit bull, so his hand got kind of messed up. So I filled in on drums.
Yeah.
And so we were playing a show in Harrisonburg, near JMU. And this guy basically plugs into like 8 synths that are just there to make noise, like no notes or anything like that, and like a distortion pedal. And the singer just started screaming about what I can only imagine was like terrible things that happened during his childhood for 15 minutes.
Oh my God. That's called metal music. That's what that is.
Basically,
Yeah.
but like there wasn't any guitar player or like anything like that. Like it was just the synth guy playing like really bassy notes and the singer, and like you couldn't make out most of what he was saying, but when you could make stuff out, it was just like, I hate everyone.
Was it 9 Inch Nails by any chance? Was that the name of the band?
No, but he did look like Trent Reznor. So
This isn't Velcro Guy, is it?
I don't know.
There's another show with Velcro Guy. There's 2 instances where Ruse de Guerre is played with like just noise.
Let's go with visual. What's Velcro guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, visual. This is actually hearsay for me, but Ruse de Guerre apparently had another show in like Baltimore, and literally it was this guy looping just random shit with like a contact mic. So he would like take pieces of Velcro and just like make these noises.
Okay, and then loop those.
And loop that, and like that was the set.
Oh,
And,
wow.
like,
Oh man,
It was-
that sounds
it-
terrible.
yeah, it was.
I was
weird.
hoping he was stuck to a wall. Now, you guys
wish
said
he was.
for Sight, you guys mentioned something about police breaking up a first show that you guys had.
Indeed.
Yes.
What was that?
The same house show where our keyboardist Tad was really drunk was actually broken up by the police later in the night.
Like, did they come in riot gear or anything? Or what was happening?
They
Unfortunately not.
didn't come in the house.
Right.
We were that was the last show I was supposed to play drums with Ruse, and we were 2 songs into the set. They were headlining, and then out of nowhere everyone starts freaking out. They're like, "Stop, the police are here."
At first, did you think like, man, we are good? Because people are like, whoa, God, what is happening? And then you're like, whoa, we really got them. Look at this. They are animated.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
actually
Not
did.
everybody agrees with
I
me,
was
but
like,
I like to think so.
Because that would be my initial thought. Why is everybody like, oh, this is really cool?
Yeah.
They're really into it. They're running around like everything's crazy. So that would
Where did they all go?
yeah, exactly. Where are they now? I was hoping that it was gonna look like that Foo Fighters video where it's like the riot police and then you guys playing in front of them.
And they fight the police.
Yeah,
It's
and
the
then
Pretender.
And then it was exactly.
Yeah.
That would have been the way to go for your first show ever. Just being like, oh, we're out of time. We didn't get to all of your senses. You guys will have to come back sometime and we'll get through the other ones that we missed. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
We
Also,
will
this
see you later.
yeah, coming up this week, Surprise Attack is playing June 22nd at Shade Fest in Avenue, Maryland, and also June 23rd, Yonderville Music and Art Festival in Ritzyville, Virginia, which is a place. June 24th, Bass Dancer at Sugar Mountain Rockout in Hanover, Pennsylvania, and June 26th, Better Homes at Jam and Job in Vienna. Please like our posts, follow us, retweet us, share us, show us up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Next week, Mary Jo Maeda and the Pile of Dudes. seriously this time. If you enjoyed the show, email us at contact@anotherwastedhour. If you hated the show, send your complaints to Comey. He'll probably testify about them. Thanks to Victor, and most of all, thanks to Ryland Wilkins and the Intrepid Travelers for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been Another Wasted Hour. If you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.
Mrs. Mary was a widow when she stumbled into Winslow, walking to the market for some tea. Saw them kiss from out my window. What poor Mary still didn't know was that Mr. Winslow was married. But these are the things that make us complete. Colors that bring us out of the doldrums, the misfortunes of others. We seek schadenfreude, it brings us joy. Mrs. Winslow was unhappy when she found the couple napping, wondering what had possibly occurred. Neighbors heard the sounds of crashing, mirrors broken, guns are blasting. Seems their only option was murder. Yet these are the things that make us complete. Colors that bring us out of the doldrums, the misfortune of others. We seek schadenfreude, it brings us joy. I wonder how we all are still laughing while these tragedies all are masking who we are, how we can stop harassing to be happy, but are we really happy? Oh no, looking at the television, everything is so explicit, yet I find them smiling like a clown. Everyone seems so sadistic, leaving our children dismissive of the garbage piling all around. 'Cause these are the things that